What happened to Sadie Einstein? In 1960, when Kaiser Adolf was being interrogated by law enforcement and intelligence in Italy, he diligently repeated the truth of events that occurred whilst he was in prisoner of war jail every day, regardless of what the people interviewing him wanted to hear. The staff at the jail had regularly left pregnant Sadie alone with Kaiser Adolf in the train station building as if it was forced engagement time. Him chained up in the cell and her in her apartment outside the bars. They were basically waiting for him to initiate a chat with her, as if he had decided they should discuss the child becoming the next Kaiser of Germany to be when it was born, and they needed to negotiate plans for when it was taken to Germany. She sat waiting. He ignored her. She often busied herself scurrying around making plans, as if she was becoming the equivalent of Queen of Germany, including notes on what she thought she would need. Kaiser Adolf repeatedly reiterated to Italian intelligence that Sadie self-aborted the illegally bred, deliberately inbred, and ineligible child with a knitting needle just out of reach of him through the cell bars. She then lied and said it had incidentally aborted whilst the staff of the jail were gone. It caused film cameras to be installed in the building and used by staff as security cameras afterwards. The Italian authorities involved decided to send a squad to Yugoslavia and try to get Sadie's version of the events, as if the Kaiser may have been lying for his own convenience in some way. Some of them expected tales of the baby being around 14 when he escaped and what it looked like. Details about the child after it was born and why it hadn't been taken to Germany yet were all they wanted. They decided to send their Foreign Legion of intelligence officers to check it out. Italy has a French Foreign Legion-style body full of foreigners who are intelligence agents for Italy. They headed to Yugoslavia and tracked her down. Whilst being interviewed in 1960, Sadie admitted the child aborted in April 1944 and never got born. It was the first time anyone had ever admitted that fact to anyone outside of the jail residents and staff since the baby was conceived illegally in 1944. She then delivered a carefully rehearsed spiel. It was about why they decided not to tell anyone that was waiting for her to arrive in Germany with it sometime immediately after November 1944, that it never got born. With her head waving from side to side and a bundle of mumbled and muttered excuses. Carefully rehearsed in as conciliatory a you understand tone as she could manage. Some of the intelligence agents that were interviewing her wanted to hear her say something like, "Oh, yeah, sure. He's out the back. I'll go get him and introduce him to you." They decided to execute her at the end of the interview. They then made sure her remains were in unrecognizably small pieces. She was buried in someone's backyard. It was probably deceased prison governor Joe Rewald's backyard. The Italian Foreign Legion-like intelligence agents sent word back to Italy that everything Kaiser Adolf said was completely true and that Sadie had been executed. They never returned to Italy from their assignment at the time, choosing to go elsewhere after it was completed. Probably partly to avoid recriminations in Italy and Europe. As for those security cameras, they diligently got turned on for fresh recordings every day by the jail staff. It became routine. Reels of film of Kaiser Adolf being held prisoner was later used for a pirate, unofficial television program broadcast in some countries in the 1950s. It was called the Kaiser Adolf Hitler held prisoner chained up in the train station show, with the same intro for every episode. Where it was broadcast when television was completely unregulated is something I do not know the full facts about. North and Central America is probably a safe guess.